Okay. Then how can we do this? First of all, check this out. What's the length is 60. Okay, and this angle is 60, right? Okay. Here we make this line in about your angle is. How many angles are there for this way? Anyone tell me what's the angle of this line? What's the angle of this point? What's the angle of this line? This point? Anyone know? Hmm? Anyone knows what's the angle of this line? कोई बता सकते हैं इससे एंगल क्या होगा? 30. Right. Okay, 30 degrees. Okay, then we make this line on about of the 30 degrees. First of all, okay. First of all, take the L and then first point and then take the line in form in 30 degree along with and then is 100, right? This is your line first. And after this, you can also do just use it here. You can also make, suppose you don't have to an advanced feature right here, then you can make this line is starting, okay? And then make this line this portion or gauge, okay? And then just use it, this point, and after this point, you get, and then make this line along with the 30 degree, and then what's the size is 100, right? If you, okay, also you change the line, but this will not learn about this part, okay? By the way, this way, you can create the line, and after that, you take the 2 point circle, first point, and then last point, then you create this. Okay. Same way, create this point. Okay. That's clear. How to create this bar? Yes or no? Divesh, आपको क्लियर है?
Clear, sir.
ओके, ठीक है। तो अभी के लिए आपको, हाँ, ये दिस इज कंफ्यूजिंग सो बिकॉज इसमें कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो कि आपको ट्रेसिंग की मदद से करना था, मगर ट्रेसिंग हमने अभी तक सीखा नहीं, तो इसलिए उस पर मैंने आपको वो तरीका बताया जो आपके लिए प्रेफरेबल हो। ओके, जब हम ट्रेसिंग सीख जाएंगे तब उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम बताएंगे, भी कर सकते हैं। ओके, देन ओके, एंड एनी फर्दर डाउट, एनी फर्दर क्वेश्चन, एनीवन? किसी को क्वेश्चन नहीं है? ओके, सबके ड्राइंग्स बन गए सारे? फर्स्ट सेकेंड एंड थर्ड पेज इज कंप्लीट और नॉट? हो गया कंप्लीट? चलो, किसी को कोई आवाज नहीं है तो फिर हम स्टार्ट करते हैं, आगे चलते हैं। Okay. Today we talk about the rectangle and polygon. Where is find the rectangle and polygon? This way. Okay. Here we have the rectangle option and polygon option. Okay. So can anyone explain the what is rectangle? Rectangle क्या होता है? तो explain कर सकते हैं? What is, okay? Opposite side of the line is equal, right? And then this is a closed shape, right or not? Rectangle is a closed shape, not have any circular line, have a corner point. Okay, 4 corner points. This is called rectangle. In the way of the line, I can create the rectangle, right? I create the 100 by 50 line. Okay, this is also look like a rectangle. 90 and this is a rectangle, right? Okay, but this is an actual rectangle, not? No, this is not actual rectangle because I make this by use of the line. Okay, and then because the rectangle is closed option, closed object, but this is not a closed, perfectly closed. Why? Because I I unclose it by use of single, because this is a line, separate line. Use of where by combining the line and then make a rectangle. Yes, and then separate line. I separate this line by use of object selection mode. Okay. Then come to the verse how to create the rectangle right here. How to create our rectangle. For rectangle command, we have the shortcut is REC. Okay. Click on the IC first, and then here what should we say? Here we have to got first corner point. First of all, specify the first corner first. This is my first corner. I specify the first corner, and then next one is your next corner point. Okay. So first corner to other corner, and then this will be mapped. This corner points I click, and then next lower corner points I click this part. Okay. And this rectangle will be mapped. Okay. तो इस तरह से हम रेक्टेंगल बनाएंगे जिसमें हम क्या करेंगे, इस कॉर्नर पॉइंट्स को सबसे पहले क्लिक करेंगे एंड नेक्स्ट कॉर्नर पॉइंट को हम क्लिक करेंगे, तो एक रेक्टेंगल क्रिएट हो जाएगा अगर आप मैनुअली बना रहे हैं। मगर हमें क्या करना है, डायमेंशनली बनाना है। आई मेक द रेक्टेंगल बाय यूज ऑफ डायमेंशन। ओके, 100 by 50. Then how can we do that? Just click on the REC command first, and then here to click on first corner point, and after that you have the option here, area, dimension, rotation. What you want to applying the dimension, then what you do, just click D, enter, and then here we apply the dimension. First of all is your length, okay, and then second of is your width. In the rectangle we have two types of things, length and width, right? Okay, and then we got this type of rectangle, and then which coordinate you want to paste, just click on it, and I want to have to paste, just click it, and then your rectangle will be made on behalf of dimension 100 by 50. Okay, 100 is your length, and then 50 is your width. Okay. Okay. Suppose here, if you don't want to make your rectangle by use of the dimension, but you know about the area. Okay, you have the area of a rectangle and then one dimension of the rectangle. Okay, don't know about the second dimension of the rectangle. Then how can we do that? For this week, what you do, just write here is the REC first, and then click on first one. After that, what you select here is area. Area, for area, we click A, enter, and then A, enter. First of all, right here is the area of rectangle. What's the area of rectangle here right here? Is suppose I write here is a 10,000. Okay, mm square, and then I specify length and width. Which one I want to specify here? Suppose I want to specify is 150 is the length, right? Length is 150. Okay. 1 second is not recognizes length. I click on the length first, and then here I write is the 150, and then once they are, this is area will be max. Okay. When we check the dimension right here, okay. Suppose here this is my 150, and this is how many there? Just calculate it. This is your 66.67, right? Okay. This is next week is automatically calculated by system. Okay, and then create your this type of rectangle and whatever you want. Okay, if you I take the 100, then this distance also will be 100 because 100 into 100 is 10,000 mm square, right? And then you know what how to calculate the area of rectangle. Okay, all know this about it. You can also create the rectangle by use of area. You can also create the rectangle by use of dimension. Any of option you can use for making the rectangle option. Okay. And suppose how to create a rectangle in form of 45 degrees. Suppose when I create here is the rectangle dimension. I take the dimension is 100 by 100. Okay. And then I want to show this in form of tilted with the 45 degree. Then how can we do that? If I want to make this type of thing, suppose here I want to make the rectangle of this thing, this type, to tilted with 45 degree. Then how can we make this thing? Okay, because this is also a rectangle part. By use of the rectangle, you can create your square also, right? So have all the sides same. So length and width is are same. Then you create a square, right? Then how can make this type of thing? So for this purpose, what you do? Just use the REC first, and then here to specify the first point first, and after that, here we have the rotation option. Okay, click on R, enter, and then with the rotation angle you specify is 45 degrees. And then after that, you make the dimension, take the dimension, and then right here is your 50 by 50. This is your distance, okay, and this will be fit. Okay, this rectangle square will be made in tilted with the 45 degree, 30 degree, whatever you want to rotate your diagram, then you can use it, right? Okay, and make this type of thing also. Just clear? Yes, sir. Okay. The next one will come to the rectangle option is your REC enter. First of all, one thing I do, if you want to create this anything, or every time we have the make the a rectangle in form on behalf of 45 degree. Okay. Then what you do first? First of all, do REC enter and then first of click and R enter and make them is a 0 degree. Okay. Then you don't have to do this thing. Then what happens? Then every time you make the rectangle is tilted with 45 degree. Okay. Then I want to make the straight rectangle. Then you can use the rotate your rectangle in 0 degree. First of all. And come to the next part is here. You see, we have the multiple option here: chamfer, elevation, fillet, thickness, width. What they are? Okay. Let's talk about this part. Okay. First of all, here we have the chamfer option. You know about the chamfer? Anyone knows the chamfer? What is the chamfer? आप में से किसी को पता है chamfer क्या होता है? You are all from the mechanical, right? Devesh, Vijay, and Tushar. Then you know about the chamfer? Yes.
Four edges are four
Yes.
edges lightly sloped.
Just like a
Slope.
slot. Not a slot right here because here we don't have the slot. For the slot making, we can use a fillet. Okay.
Half circle. Half circle edges.
No, no. Chamfer is not a half circle, not a circle. In chamfer, we can't create any circular way in any arc, any sector. What the chamfer is it? You talk about the fillet, not a chamfer. Right here. But I asked the chamfer. What is a chamfer? At the corner point, you saw about the cutting edge. Cutting edge in the sense, cut in the some angle. Suppose 45, 30 degree angle, right? And this will be cut on the corner point. This is called chamfer. Okay. For the chamfer, what you do? Just C enter first, and then here we have the two distance. First chamfer distance is I take is here dash, and the next one distance is I take in is here square, right? And then just click on this part, and then take a dimension first. Okay, 100 by 50, and this will be paid. And this is my chamfer, right? Remember that this is your chamfer. Okay, and here you all the 4 points, all the 4 corners are applied as a chamfer. Okay, there is the same way, 10 by 10. Here we have the distance by 10, and here we have the distance by 10. Right? This is the chamfer. Just clear?
Okay.
If you need to draw the chamfers here in different distance, suppose here I want to make a chamfer. First of all, I make a chamfer is 15, and then second chamfer I want to make is a 10. Okay, then what we do? Just click on this part, and then here this will be a chamfer, right? Okay, one type is your 10, and then second one is your 15, right? Yes or no? Okay, you can also create this type thing by use of the chamfer. Okay, where your cutting angle is changed right here. Okay, here we cutting angle is changed, and we have the different distance. So yeah, okay, this will be made by use of the chamfer, right? Just clear? Okay. So to the next part is here. First of all, I want to make a rectangle, and then one thing you can do. First of all, make a chamfer is 0. Why? Because I don't want to create every time as a chamfer. Okay. But next time I want to create only simple rectangle and if other types of rectangle. Okay. Not a chamfer type rectangle. Okay. This is your chamfer type rectangle, right? Come to the next page. Then if you want to create your slot type, you have rounded corners. Then what you do? For this week, you use fillet. This is your fillet option. Fillet is used for the corner points your round. Make a corner point as a round and then make as a slot type thing. Okay. Just F enter first, and then here for the making the round corners, then we specify the radius first. And radius is I take here is a 10. Okay. and then this is your first corner point, right? And then the dimension I take it, okay, and this is your rectangle is 5 made, and then here we have the each and every corner points are converted into round corner, right? This is a round shape, okay. This is called a fillet. Inside the fillet, we create only sorry, single values, okay. Take a single values only a radius, and each and every corner points of the rectangle will convert into fillet form. And if you are to apply the chamfer, each and every corner points will convert into chamfer points, right? That's clear. Okay. Come to the next part is here. If you don't know, don't want to again to make your fillet, okay. If you create the fillet and then every time fillet will be created, right? Then what you do, just first of all you create and then app enter first and then make this angle radius is 0, okay. Then you can create your normal rectangle, right? Okay. Come to the next part is here is REC, enter the REC, and then here we have the option of this part. Here we have option of thickness, width, and elevation. Okay. Come to the part of the width first. Okay. What is the width? I enter the width and the right here the width is 5 mm. Okay. And then just click on it. And then what they are? Okay. This is your width. Okay. With the width, this is your line width. Okay. Where we have to make a line. This is called a line width. Okay. Here we have the border line. And this is your line width will be increased by as a 5 mm. Right. By use of the line width, we can create the line width here. Okay. Second one is you. I convert width is also 0 because I don't need it. Okay. And I create as a normal way. Okay. Come to the next part is here. Next one talk about the thickness. What is the thickness is here? T and I did take the thickness is 10 mm. Okay. And then I make it a thickness value. And then this is the dimension, take it 100 by 50. And then here, what's the change you show? Nothing? Nothing you change it to? Because this thickness is not displayed in form of 2D section, okay? Because this is thickness of the rectangle, okay? Then what's the thickness of rectangle when we convert it? Okay? When we convert it in form of 3D way, when we see the things in 3D way, then what you say here? Here, this is your thickness. This thickness I take it here. Okay, this is our thickness as 10 mm, right? And then if you to show in the 2D, this is not look like as any changes. Okay, right? Just I sent again. I thickness I can take as a 0 first. Then come to the elevation. What's the elevation is? Anyone knows the elevation? आपको तो पता है elevation? हम्म? क्या होता है elevation? हम्म? बोलिए. ओके. सिविल वालों को तो पता होता है elevation के बारे में. सिविल से हो ना आप लोग? हम्म? कोई नहीं. Elevation. E enter for elevation. I take here is 100. And then I make a circle. Sorry, rectangle. This is my rectangle. And then we don't find out the any changes right here. But when we switch here is a 3D form, then what you show? My rectangle is made by the 100 distance of the base line, base dimension. Okay, this is your called elevation. Elevation is the means you can create the section of the upper part. Okay, that's why we can create your upper value by use of the year. This is called the elevation. Okay? तो एलिवेशन क्या, जैसे कि आप बनाते हो सेक्शन की फर्स्ट फ्लोर सेकंड फ्लोर, तो एलिवेशन कहलाता है वो अलग अलग पार्ट को डिफाइन करना. दिस इज कॉल्ड एलिवेशन. ओके, so this is called the elevation simple. That's clear. By this options you can make a rectangle, different types of rectangle you can create here. That's clear how to create a rectangle or not? All clear the rectangle, how to create a rectangle? Yes or no?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, tell me what to say. Okay, all clear, right? Okay. Then come to the next part is your option is your polygon. Anyone knows what is polygon? Anyone? What is polygon? No one knows polygon. What is polygon? What the
Six,
polygon is? Yes, say. Yeah, Vijay, please tell me.
six edges are pentagons. Six opposite pentagons. That's
Vijay
called
is
polygon.
okay. Vijay
Coming
is
out of this.
your voice is not perfectly audible. Voice is just trembling. Okay. Anyone दिवेश आपको पता है पॉलीगॉन क्या है तुषार? आप लोगों में से किसी को पता है पॉलीगॉन क्या है? आपको क्या है बताओ? Length of side of angle is polygon. Polygon is a closed shape. What is a polygon? Polygon is a closed shape where have the multiple sides. Okay, multiple sides are equal. All sides are equal, and then closed shape. What's the closed shape? Minimum side of the polygon is 3. Okay, and then maximum is how many you can create it. Okay, and then suppose here I create the I'll enter here. You have the tech is 100, and then this is your equilateral triangle, right? So I create equilateral triangle 100, and this is I see enter. This is also called a polygon. Equilateral triangle is also a polygon. If you create a square right here by use of rectangle, I then create here is a square. Suppose here dimension I take it 100 and 100 by 100. Okay, this is also called a polygon. Square is also part of the polygon, right? And then I that how to make this by direct way. Just come to this part right here. And then how to make this thing by use of the direct way. Just for this part, what you do, use a shortcut is POL. Polygon shortcut is POL and enter. Okay. And then first of all, what you do, polygon enter number of sides. How many sides are there? Okay. How many sides are there? Just right here, I want to make in by use of 3 sides. Okay. And the next one was to do specify center of the polygon by use polygon make use by use of the center point. Okay. And then we have the two options right here, inscribed in circle and circumscribed border circle. I also talk about this part. This is your polygon. Equilateral triangle is also a polygon. Okay. And then if you want to make a four side of the polygon, just what you do, just right here, side is 4, and then create a center point right here, and then this is your square. Square is also a polygon, right? And then if you want to create side is take a 5, and then click on it. Right? And what they are called? This shape is called. What this shape is called? इस shape को हम क्या कहते हैं? किसी को पता
Hexagon.
है? Not a hexagon. This is a pentagon. We have the 5 sides.
Pentagon.
This why we call as a
Six side,
pentagon.
6 sides are hexagon. Okay.
Yeah, 6 sides. We have to create the 6 sides. Okay. Then this is called a hexagon, right? And then we have the multiple option right here. Suppose if you create a 7 size, then you got the heptagon. Okay. And we have to create your 8 size, then use the octagon. Okay. Many of the one you can use it. Okay. All are the polygons, right? Okay. Come to the parts of the next page. Suppose here I create a circle first, and then of the size is 100. Okay. And then here I want to create polygon, POL enter, and then side is your 3. And then I want to create, take the center point this part, and then this is your V. Okay. And then I check the inscribed in circle, and right here is this radius is 100. Then what to say have to state line? We got this type of rectangle. Okay. Okay, first, and then also you can make this by use of the direct way. Okay, just use the right here the option first, and then create this thing, and then inscribe in circle first, and then you can create this type of thing by use of the polygon. Right? Okay. For next thing is we asked about here is your 100, and then I create a polygon, right? POL and the side is any side you can take it. Suppose I take a 6 side, right? and then I want to create center point, and then I want to inscribe in circle, and then talk about the how what is inscribed in circle and circumscribe about the circle. Inscribed in circle is means your polygon inside the circle. Make the polygon inside your circle, and then this way we have to what to say here. We have the center point to corner points of the polygon. What do you have? Where you have to call center point to corner points, and then if corner points connect with your coordinate, then you can make inside it. And also you can write here the 100 diameter radius. Then what you got here? Here we got this type of thing. Clear? If you create a circle again, and then here this is your 100 diameter radius of the circle, and then what to do? Just take same polygon right here, this side, and then here you take here center point first, and then here we select second option, circumscribe about the circle. Circumscribe about the circle in the means outside of the circle. Make the polygon is outside of the circle, and then this center point is of the edge of the center point. This is your edge, and then edge of the center midpoint. Okay, and this midpoint will touch with your circumference, quadrant of the circumference, right? Then you can make it this type of thing. Okay, and then if you write here the same 100 mm radius, then this thing will be made. Okay, here we write here the same 100 mm, and here we have to write the same 100 mm, but the size is different on behalf of both the section, because this is create outside of the circle, this is create inside of the circle. This is why size is different. Okay, in form of different sections. Suppose a polygon I use it, and then I check three right here, and then I create this way. Okay, inscribed in circle I check here is 100. Then what will happen? This equilateral triangle will make. Then again I check this part, and then here I check the circumscribe about the circle. Okay. Then I write here is 100. Then what will happen? Both the radius are same, but I take inscribe and circumscribe. Then what the this both are the size is different, right? This is small size. This is your big size. By use of this way, you can create your thing, right? That's it. Okay. Come to the next part is this. Okay, how to create the circumscribe, how to use the inscribe view circle by use of the polygon right here. That's clear, all of you. Okay. The next way, you want to create your polygon by use of edge. Okay, edge distance. You can also create the polygon by use of edge distance. Just enter first, and then right here first point of the edge, and then right here second point of the edge. Distance of the edge right here. Suppose I write 100. Okay, and this distance is my 100, and then all the edges are same. In polygon, all the edge line are same. Okay, this way you can create your polygon diagram, right? Okay. Okay, just click. Any doubt? Okay, just take an example. Simple example is your nut bolt, right? I use the circle, right? First of all, I make a circle of 100. Okay, and then I also again make a circle is 40. Okay, here inside this we have two types of thing. Okay, and then I want to create a polygon of hexagonal polygon is size of 6, and then I select is here is circumscribe out of circle, and then take the radius is 100. Okay, and then again I want to create here is polygon again, and then select your point, and then same way I select it, and then radius is your point. Okay, what's the look like? What's the look like? Anyone tell me? Device, Tushar, and Vijay.
Bold.
This is look like a hexagon nut, right?
All down, not hexagon knives.
Yeah. Okay. And then you can, if you want to show that threading, you can also show the threading here. But this is a simple way you can create by use of the polygon and circle command. Okay, I make this thing by use of the polygon and circle. That's it. That's it. Yes, Janu.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, this is your rectangle and polygon command. Simple way. Okay. Okay, something as tomorrow as Mrs. Zoom option. Okay, I also talk about the zoom option. Okay, at the zoom option, Zoom option what? I also talk about the zoom all option. Zoom option or all option I talk about as a form of setting the limits, right? When we specify your limit area and then show the limit area, then you can use the zoom all option, right? And then if you want to, or other options are there for the zoom of which one I use, which one are important to you. Okay, just check this out. When you click on the Z enter, zoom for zoom, click on Z enter, and then we have more multiple options, right? All, center, dynamic, extend, previous, scale, window, and object. Okay. First of all, I use the extend option. All option I already told about in the setting of the limit, right? Zoom all option I already talked when the time of the set of the limit, right or not? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Come to the next part is your extend because extend is your important. Okay. What's the extend do? Just enter and then what will happen? All the portion of your diagram, all the portion you can create here is show your window. Come to this part of the window. Okay. If you zoom this part and then I want to show all the parts where what you wanna do, just use a Z and the E enter. Then what you get? All the display, all the objects I make here display in the single window. Okay, right? Next one is your zoom option is important for you. Is your window option. What's the window option do? When we select the W enter and then select your window option, first corner to second corner. Okay, and then what's happen? I select those area which are already zoomed right here. Okay, and then show the object of this part. Okay, if you want to zoom only in specific object, a specific area of the object, then you can just use a zoom window. Just click. And then again, what you do, just enter. And then if you want to show any object tag, suppose I want to show this object as your window, don't other object I want here, then what you do, just use the O option. Okay, O for object, just click O, enter. And then what you do, select the object. This object I select and then hit the enter. Then what will you check? Here, my object will be zoomed and then show in your scale. That's clear? How to zoom, how to use the zoom option. Okay, this zoom option is important for you. Okay, right? Mhm. That's clear. Any doubts? Any question? I think this part is clear to all of you, right or not?
Okay.
Okay. Any question regarding this part? Because this is simple. Okay, if you want to note down this thing, you can also note it right now. Okay, all of you note it right now.